they've got their quartiles in the middle, but then they also throw in the minimum, which is the smallest value that you see, and the maximum, which is the largest value that you see. So when you put all of those together, they call it the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary is going to be so this one they have you do in by hand again. Don't do this. We're not gonna write it. If you do 1-bar stats, and you're gonna scroll all the way to the bottom. And at the very, very bottom, they're gonna have those 5 numbers blocked together in the correct order. So, if you do that real quick, let me get this out here. Edit. Go up. One. All right, so I'm gonna put these numbers in. I'm not gonna change them into decimals. I'm just gonna leave them as percents and just type them in as the numbers they are. For this one at least. If we were doing like yes, maybe standard deviation, we couldn't do that, but all we're doing is 5-number summary, just keep them as percents, it doesn't really matter. So once you've got them all in, all 10 of them, right? I'm gonna go to stat, calc, 1-bar stats, and again, you don't need to put any L2 because we don't have a frequency and we don't have any weights. We're not doing GPA or anything like that. Once you do that, your screen pops up. You're going to go all the way to the bottom, so scroll all the way down so you can't scroll anymore. And these are all going to be all at the bottom grouped together. Your minimum, your first quartile, your median, your third quartile, and your maximum. So anytime they ask you for the 5-number summary, do your 1-bar stats and look all the way at the bottom for your bottom 5 numbers, and those are going to be your So 5 numbers at the bottom, that's going to be your 5-number summary. And usually you write it in order. You don't want to put them out of order. I'm going to go ahead and write my minimum is 6.5. Let's see, I've got 12 and 15.6. 14.4. And then if you want to fill in these values out here just to say what each of them is. The smallest number that we see, that's the 6.5. The largest number that we see, that's 14.5. The first quartile, that's going to be these things in here. Those are our quartiles. So the first one is 12. The second, which is the median, that's 13.6. And the third is 14. But like I said, that one, don't do it by hand. Just go ahead and put it in your calculator and do your 1-bar stats. Get your 5-number summary back. We're going to talk a little bit about box plots. Box plots you may have done before, but you may have done them under the name box and whiskers. A lot of people call them box and whiskers. So you're going to have 2 boxes in the middle, and then you're going to have whiskers that go out on each side. We are going to do something different in this class. It's going to be called a modified box plot, where it looks a little bit different if you have outliers. So we're going to treat box plots differently if we have an outlier floating around. So the first thing we're going to have to do is figure out if we have any outliers. So when we do this box plot, they just abbreviate it, but it's a modified box plot. We're first going to figure out what our fences are, same as we did in the last section, using those formulas. And remember, these 2 here for your fences, those I will give to you. This one here you have to have memorized. You have to know how to get your IQR. But these 2 here I'll give to you on the test. Okay, and then once you've done that, you want a number line that's long enough to include everything, your maximum and minimum values. Even any outliers. And then from there, you're going to start with vertical lines at all of your quartiles. So at Q1, your median, and Q3, you're just going to draw vertical lines. So lines going up and down, and then you're going to enclose these vertical lines in a box. And then that's the box part of your box and whiskers plot. So start with that, that's the easiest part. Okay, and then from there, the whiskers usually aren't too bad, but since we are taking out any outliers out of this situation, what we're going to do is we're going to label where our fences are, just so we know we can't go past those fences with the whiskers. So we're going to label the upper and lower fences with dashed lines, just so we know that's where our fences are. And when we do these box and whiskers plots, our whiskers aren't going to extend past those fences. They can't go any further than that. So from there, we're going to draw a line from Q1 to the smallest data value that is larger than the lower fence. So we're not going to go all the way to any outliers that we see. We're not going to go all the way to the fence. We're not going to touch the fence. We're just going to go out to the smallest number that we see that isn't considered an outlier. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Start with Q3 and draw a line to the largest data value that you see that isn't on the other side of the upper fence. And then those lines are going to be called whiskers. And we'll do an example here with this one if we have time, just so you can see what it's talking about. A lot of people draw their fences and then they draw their whiskers all the way to the fences. You don't want to go all the way to the fences. You want to go to the largest number that you see on the inside of the fence. Okay, so once we've done that, it's basically like if we did a box and whiskers plot, but without the outliers. We still want to acknowledge that there are outliers there, so what we're going to do instead, at the very end, any data values on the outside of our fences are going to be called outliers, like we talked about last time. And then we're going to mark those with an asterisk right here. You can use an asterisk. I think sometimes the homework might have like a square or something instead, but some sort of a mark so you can know where your outliers are. But they're not going to be attached to your whiskers because we don't want to include them in our plot size. Okay. All right, so that's the basic idea. We'll actually go through and do this one on Wednesday, and then we'll do another example, and then we'll go over homework. Hold on just a sec, because it gets too loud and I can't talk over you. Just be sure you finish the homework tonight. Look over the review that I put up. Go ahead and look it over. That way if you have questions, we can go over your questions. Otherwise, I'll just pick ones that I like. So if you want a specific topic talked about on Wednesday, just make sure you look through and see. When I write the test, it's just going to be problems that are on the review. It won't be anything extra. Hold on just a sec. I'm not going to put anything on the test that isn't on the review. So go ahead and take a look at it before Wednesday, and then we can talk about it Wednesday, and then our test is in 1 week. Okay? All right? All right, you're free to go.